I just want to make a short video on how much better the trunk of the pine tree looks. I just finished scrubbing it with Pine Sol and hot water. And all of this part of the tree was the part that was facing north and had the worst damage on it and the worst blackness. And there is a green tree under here. All I did was hose it down and then scrub it. And this, I still have to do this, but this is not even as black as it was. The whole trunk on one side was black. I've taken the stub branches completely off now. I did leave a few at the crown. And I still have the stump to take out that I'm working on. The other thing is, I think the aphids were the symptom and not the problem. The problem are the carpenter ants. This tree is as light as a stick. I can pick this tree up like it was nothing, and it should not be that light. Even though it is still alive and you see green living tissue, every branch I've taken off of here is way too dry. I just cut it down last week and there's hardly any sap running. So around the stump, this is all carpenter ant heaven. And I've been working in this area, so I covered over their holes, but they have tunnels coming all through here. The only thing I can think of, they don't eat wood, they live in wood. But the only thing I can think of is that they've attacked the roots because it was in the way. So if the tree has been getting less nutrients because the roots are damaged down there, then it was actually the carpenter ants that killed the tree, and the aphids were the symptom. Another sad note, I had to dispose of my cotton plants because the aphids any aphids that had escaped headed right for them. And they were all over them. And because I'm moving, I couldn't really battle that right now, and also plan on wintering them over indoors. So I'll have to do cotton again next year, start over in the winter with new seeds. But it's just amazing to me how this tree cleaned up from the black trunk that it had. Now, I took the base off. There's the stump there, and I'm cutting a piece off of there. But I wanted the very base here to be flat, so I trimmed that. And the rest of the tree is in this fish tank, which I'm using. It's got Pine Sol and water in it, and I'm using to soak the bottom of the trunk. In fact, I haven't scrubbed this, and you'd be able to see the difference on how black the bottom of the tree was compared to what it looks like now. That branch right there is what the whole tree on one side looked like, and the real tree is green. So this I'll soak. I want to make sure there's no bugs on it. I don't see any evidence of bugs. Once I got rid of the branches, I don't see any evidence of bugs, but this is soaking in here just to be sure. This will also kill any bug eggs that I'm missing or that I'm not aware of. And then I will scrub this after it is soaked for a while. And I did count the rings, and there are 16. So, but it's actually going better than I expected, and I'll be able to take it with me. Now here's one more aspect of this tree, and I've had them in here because I wasn't sure if they were going to have bugs or not. This tree, even though it's so small and light and only 16 years old, made it to maturity. And I have, they're eking pine a little bit, I have 6 pine cones from my tree. Now, I didn't know if they would have bugs on them. They have sap on them. I had them in the jar for about whenever I cut the tree down, so almost a week. And they're not, obviously there is still green on them, so they have not aged and dried enough to open. So what I'm going to do, it's not working out to keep them in the jar because they're building up moisture. So what I'm going to do, this is an old piece, this is an old piece of cheesecloth. And cheesecloth itself is very thin, is like gauze, as you can see there. That's actually doubled. I have about 4 layers here, maybe even 6 layers, no, 4 layers. And I'm going to take this and make a small bag, and I'm going to put the pine cones in the bag. And that way they will be able to dry naturally, and I am going to have white pine seeds from my white pine. So it did make it to maturity at 16 years old.